Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the time of the hour. We live in revolutionary times. It falls upon the shoulders of people like you and me to liberate ourselves from the tyranny and oppression of fascism and political oppression. The chief aim of this podcast is to illustrate the ways in which occultism is being used to manipulate you in your life. We will also illustrate how you can use the power of the occult to benefit you. Occultism is reflected in every aspect and every facet of our daily life. From the sigils that reinforce brand loyalty in our minds concerning the products that we buy, to the political decisions that are made on our behalf that directly impact you and your family. Occultism is knowledge that has been concealed over time and through the ages. The roots of occultism are steeped in an ancient mystery system called Mystery Babylon. Babylon is the immense goddess of the universe. She is the mother of creation. She has been worshipped under many names, including but not limited to Sekhmet, Aset, Ishtar, Inanna, Kali, goddess of immense destruction, Tiamat, the immense dragon goddess, and many other names. The immense goddess represents the divine feminine energy of creation. Each individual, male or female, we all have a divine and masculine energy. The male mind must come to appreciate his own divine feminine nature and to achieve a balance between his masculine and feminine energy so that he can enter a perfect balance of that polarity. For the female mind is the embodiment of the divine feminine energy, but she must come to appreciate her own masculine energy so that she can achieve the perfect balance between that polarity. When the male mind is able to appreciate his own divine feminine nature, he is able to appreciate the divine feminine nature of women. When the female mind is able to appreciate her own divine masculine energy, she is able to appreciate the masculine energy of men. There is an agenda in place that has disrupted this harmonic balance between the male and female mind in society and in world civilization. Each day, we drift farther and farther apart from our roots of humanity as the men and women of the human species. The family unit has been disrupted through warfare tactics of social engineering. We have been programmed and we have been demoralized. Entertainment media is one of the most powerful tools of occultism. TV, movies, and music. It is through the ideas and values presented in fictional media, movies, and television shows on streaming platforms, the music the artists in the music industry present to us that we listen to. The human body is majority made out of water, as is the human brain. When we listen to music, the vibrations that are created by the frequency of the music ripples through our body the same way as when you cast a pebble or a stone into a body of water, such as a pond. And that stone strikes the water and produces a rippling sensation that goes out and then comes back in. Music has the same effect on us. It is hypnotic and it is psychedelic in nature. The human consciousness is psychedelic in nature. We do not exist in a finite universe, ladies and gentlemen, but an infinite one, a trans-dimensional space of existence. The dimension of our reality is a holographic one. This reality that you're currently experiencing is a reflection of your own perception of your existence from your mind. You are not your thoughts, you are the observation of your thoughts. When we go to sleep at night, the academia would lead you to believe that chemicals are released in the brain that causes you to have some kind of false hallucination. And when you wake up, that hallucination comes to an end. And that when you die, the biological function of your body ceases and your mind stops working. This is one of the most egregious lies we have been told. We are infinite beings. Many of us have reincarnated here from past lives, and even some of us possibly from other planets. When you go to sleep at night, you are entering the astral plane. Your consciousness is returning to the source origin of our creation. When you die, your consciousness ceases to be linked to your waking life of your body, and you do not have to come back here. No more jobs, no more bills. The people you know, the characters in your daily life, which is a dream. You no longer have any responsibility to these things. You are released. It's like just going to sleep and you never have to wake up from your dreams. You get to expand and go forth, depending on the state of your mind when you make that transition into the immense that is the fullness of our universe beyond the physical body. Some would call it the afterlife. I don't call it that. I call it the immense because I visit the immense every night. Depending on the state of your mind, if you master your mind, you'll just be able to venture off and go into other realities and possibly even create your own worlds. But if you have a mind that you have not gained control, if you have not gained control of your mind before making that ascension into the immense, there's a possibility that you will succumb to some kind of hell-like dimension, or you'll have to return back here, live out another lifetime. These are realities, ladies and gentlemen, and I did not get these realities from a book. Another one of the greatest illusions that has been propagated in society and human civilization through MK Ultra tactics of mind control and social engineering is the status quo of the academia. They have led us to believe that if you are not educated by the university system and you do not get degrees, that you are ill-informed, uneducated, stupid, a buffoon, a moron. This could not be farther from the truth. The farther you go in the education system, the more likely that you are a compliant slave and sheep hive mind. Unless you're going into a profession such as becoming a doctor or a lawyer or some political field that requires extensive education because it's part of the system in place, then in those instances, yes, I support people that go through the education system because we need those kinds of individuals. However, to say that someone such as myself, who left traditional high school at 16 years old, and then dropped out of charter school at 18, I did return to the education system at 20 and went to college for a year. I didn't learn much in the classrooms at college. I gained some information outside of that through extracurricular activities such as the campus newspaper that I was awarded as MVP of, and also working at the campus as an event organizer within the university's system within the college, working as an employee for the college. Learned a lot about how colleges work. But inside the classroom, doing screenwriting, I didn't learn much. After I left traditional high school, I created my own curriculum. I studied the evolution of popular culture and the evolution of fiction and literature. I studied countless film genres and fiction genres, including gothic literature, cosmic horror, weird fiction, the evolution of horror cinema, I became a cultural anthropologist. I am a self-engineered polymath, which is a term that means a self-educated scholar who has studied and acquired a high degree and mastery of knowledge in different fields. I did not have to go to a classroom to acquire this knowledge. I taught it to myself, and I continue to learn every single day of my life. And I know more now than I knew yesterday, and I know far more now than I knew 2 months ago, or 2 years ago, or 10 years ago. The education system is not about education. It is not about illuminating the mind. It has nothing to do with intelligence. The IQ system was created as a part of eugenics so that they could test black people in America on topics they didn't know about and then say that they were stupid. It is the same as when the colonizers and the crusaders came to America with the papal bull issued by the Pope under the monarch of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, and told the native indigenous, this paper says that your land is mine and that I can rape your people. That paper had nothing to do with those indigenous people. The use of paper and words put on paper is one of the greatest forms of the occult. This is why books are one of the most powerful elements of the occult. Any book is a grimoire. It is a combination of words that are used as spells. Music is a more fluid and liquid form of the same occultism of a book, but it's less tangible. It's more closer to the way that knowledge used to be disseminated through oral tradition. You do not have to go through a university system to acquire knowledge, especially with the internet. They've given us access to anything. Any topic you would like to learn about, any subject you would like to study, you do not need to go into financial debt to learn it in an education institution. You can go on YouTube, and there are people who have already studied it, who have already gone to universities, who already are masters in those subjects, who can inform you. You have access to Wikipedia, which is a full internet encyclopedia. They try to say that Wikipedia is not accurate. It has information on anything in existence. Is one of the most accurate databases. Yes, some things, because anyone can contribute to Wikipedia. When it comes to celebrities, some facts that have been written may be false, but everything on Wikipedia is source cited in the lower section of every single page. And any subject beyond the Wikipedia page, you can Google for further information, for further documents and articles, and you can go on Amazon and you can buy books on subjects. Books provide us questions that we must answer ourselves. The manual instructions for how to heal yourself, how to conduct yourself in society, and how to be a living human person are in your brain. All you must do is unlock that knowledge through self-contemplation, self-observation, self-reflection, meditation. Through knowledge of self, you are the master of the universe, because self-knowledge is the only form of knowledge that exists. And an education system, their entire goal is to bring you into knowledge outside of oneself. Knowledge that is false. Knowledge that has been falsified. A book can be falsified. It is documentation. Mathematics is wrong. It's slanted towards money. Physics and science and the academia is false. Their electron model is wrong. So everything built within their definition of things is all false. There's no such thing as outer space. They've never been to outer space. The moon landing was faked. They're not on Mars. They're not going into space. That's why you don't see astronauts filming videos in space in zero gravity on their iPhones and then coming back down and posting them to social media. If you go on YouTube and you search astronaut in space, there's one single video of an astronaut in zero gravity. Why is this? Because they're not going to space. Elon Musk, the greedy walrus with fat pockets, who's slimy and slippery in his tactics, like a walrus, hard to get a grip on, unless you're one of his secretaries that he impregnates daily, like some kind of centipede. He's not going to take you to Mars. If they do at some point start taking people up to the moon or to Mars, they are either taking you to a dimension that they have gained access to or created in this reality as a part of the illusion, as a part of the Tao, or they're taking you to a location that's already on our dimensional plane of existence on this planet that they have lied to us about. I have a theory. I'm not saying that it's true, but it's something I've contemplated on. There's a possibility that there could be continents and or land masses on our planet we do not know about, that they have not informed us about, that planes don't take you to, that boats don't take you to, that they have not included on the map. Our planet could be twice the size of what they've told us. It is not a blue spherical ball floating in space. There's no such thing as outer space. Outer space is the perception of your own reality. This is outer space. The only space is inner space. This is a personification of your own perception. Think of it as the way a projector works. The sun is the light on the projector beaming down on us. Our mind is the screen. And the images that appear is our own consciousness, projecting them out into our own waking life existence. What I'm telling you transcends quantum physics. I once considered myself, I study quantum physics. But quantum physics is based in the academia's basis for physics. So I now perceive that to be false. I only believe in metaphysics, that which is beyond physics. That's that which is beyond physical matter. Metaphysics is the true science of existence and the true science of the universe. It is the true science of life, ladies and gentlemen. It is the true science of all that is. And the instructions for this are in your own brain. You must only contemplate them. Little can be even received from books. You will gain more knowledge from reading fiction than you will from nonfiction. I read very little nonfiction because it is essentially just information, assorted information. Mythology is the most accurate science and benefits you the most. If you read fiction, you can study lore and you will gain insights into human psychology, you will gain insights into cultural anthropology, and you will gain insights into mythology, which will help you to attain a mythic reality in which you can bend reality to your will through manifestation, through law of attraction. The human mind is governed by 4 fundamental archetypes. I would like to note the late Dr. Robert L. Moore for illuminating me to this insight of neo-Jungian psychoanalysis. Those 4 archetypes are the king archetype, the warrior, the lover, and the magus. The archetypes are reflected in the male psyche as they are reflected in the female psyche. The king becomes the queen in the female psyche. The magus you could call the high priestess in the female psyche, and the warrior and the lover. There's not really a reason to change those to be gender specific. The king-queen archetype is your rulership. It's your sense of importance of self, your confidence, your enforcing of authority over your own destiny. The warrior is your ability to confront adversity, your ability to fight against injustice and your own oppression. The lover is your emotions. It is your ability to experience a more intimate feeling of life. And the magus is the wisdom, the knowledge. It is the magician, the alchemy, the transmutation of the alchemical process. These 4 fundamental archetypes combined and allow you to become a master of I and I self. You can find these archetypes in all movies, TV, stories, characters. One example of these 4 archetypes are Hank Hill and his friends on the animated TV series King of the Hill. Hank Hill represents the king archetype. Boomhauer represents the warrior archetype. Dale represents the magus, and Bill represents the lover. Hank Hill is the king archetype because he personifies what the show presents as the ideal American man, the breadwinner, the father and husband, the king of his block, the leader of his friends. Boomhauer represents the warrior. He's a bachelor. He has not been weighed down by the responsibilities of Hank Hill. He's a conqueror. He gets a lot of women. He's a warrior. Bill is a bleeding heart. He's the lover archetype. His wife divorced him. He's a lonely man. He just feels everything. He's just a lover. And then Dale, the conspiracy theorist and researcher, he's the magus. He puts so much effort into his research of the government as a fanatic, as some would say, as a kook, people would call him, that he doesn't even realize his wife is constantly boinking John Red Crow. And his son, Joseph, is actually John Red Crow's son. He doesn't even realize that he's a cuck because he's so focused on the research, the quest for wisdom, which is what the magus can do. If you are possessed by the magus, you won't care about what other people think or feel about you or what's going on. You're just focused on the pursuit of wisdom. You're Merlin. You're in the cave. You just want to know more. Any of these four archetypes, if not properly managed, can lead you astray. You can become lost. You have to be balanced in these archetypes. Many people live in their shadow aspect. You have a light aspect and a shadow aspect. The light aspect is your conscious mind, that which you are conscious of, your conscious waking reality. Many people don't even have control of the conscious mind. Then you have the subconscious mind, where everything that is dormant in your mind is concealed in shadows, like the dark side of the moon. If you do not come to terms with that shadow aspect, you will be ruled by your inner demon. That inner demon is a mutated form of your wounded inner child. All of the emotional wounding of your inner child becomes the monster that is your inner demon, which manifests in the male psyche as a satyr, and it manifests in the female psyche as a siren. The satyr is the personification of the mythical incubus, and the siren is the personification of the mythical succubus. Many men and women walking around today are satyrized, living in their satyrized shadow aspect. They have no control of the subconscious mind. They act on base impulse, the pursuit of money, the pursuit of sex, the pursuit of things, the pursuit of material pleasure. They are hedons because they have been demoralized and programmed to be hedons by the false power holders who themselves are hedons. Capitalism fuels this satyrization, sirenization process. Many men and women are existing in their shadow selves as satyrs, as sirens. Satyrs and sirens are easily manipulated by dark masters, masterclass demons who are stronger in their satyrization. They are conscious of their satyrization and choose to build that satyr up to become a satyr king or a siren queen. They are also manipulated by even higher up masters above them, devil class masters, who are even stronger than the master class. They are the ruling elites in the hidden power structure. These are realities, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking fiction here. I'm talking reality. Nothing I have stated on this audio tape is false. I'm telling you that. There is no such thing as truth until you decide what true is. Dr. Delbert Blair. Belief is more powerful than fact. Even if fact existed, there's no such thing as a fact. There's only belief. If you believe that Jesus Christ was a living human historical person that died on the cross 2,000 years ago and he is your Father, God, and Creator, there is nothing I can tell you that will make you disbelieve that if you are a true fanatic, if you are a true believer of Christ. There's nothing I can say to you that will change your belief in that. So that makes that more true than even if it wasn't true. Even if I could prove it wasn't true, if you believe it's true, nothing I say would change your mind. That is the power of the human mind. That is belief. Reality is only perception. Nothing you can tell me will change that which I've already decided is true for myself. That is the power you possess over the occult. Occultism doesn't require you to be initiated into a secret society. You don't have to learn any rituals. Those are all falsified misnomers that have been presented to you in media to control you, to keep you away from the knowledge that can liberate you, because they want you to be a servant, a minion, a zealot, an acolyte, a neophyte. The power of the occult is your own ability to perceive that which is true beyond that which is false, to liberate your mind and to control your own reality as the ruler of your destiny. That is the power of the occult. The occult is used to manipulate you and to disenfranchise you and to oppress you. But if you merely acknowledge that fact and come to understand after you overstand, then through that understanding that you acquire, you can use the power of the occult, which is merely the perception of your own reality, to control your reality, to bend reality to your will, to make reality that which you want it to be. You do not have to be a servant to anybody else if you control your own reality, but you must eliminate vices from your life. You must eliminate falsehoods. You must do self-therapy. You must become a shaman of self. That is the key to mastering the occult. And once you become a shaman of self, then through self-knowledge, you can gain the insights needed for divine illumination. You don't have to change your religion. You don't have to change any of your beliefs. You may notice your beliefs evolving as you acquire deeper understanding and wisdom and knowledge, but you don't have to cast aside your religion or your culture, or your political beliefs. All you must do is help yourself be a better person by examining that which holds you back in life. This is another problem. People have been so conditioned to be chattel sheep that most people don't want to liberate themselves, even if they could comprehend that which I'm saying, which they probably can't because the frequency of their mind is so low that anything I'm saying just appears to be nonsense to them. Even if they could grasp it, they would rather work for someone else. They would rather have someone else tell them what to do. They would rather have barely enough money to pay their bills, while someone like Elon Musk has infinite money. They don't have a problem with that. They don't have a problem with the fact that they are defenseless against a militarized police state. They don't care. That's how deep the conditioning of social engineering has gone. People do not care that they are defenseless slaves living in a penal colony, not a country. People don't care about that fact. Doesn't matter to them. All they care about is, can I go get my new car? Can I drive around in my Tesla? Can I charge my iPhone? Can I spend a little bit of this money with these dead presidents on it? Can I get my hands on a little bit of materialism, on a little bit of physical pleasure? That's all they care about. They don't care about being a slave. They don't care if their children are slaves. They don't care if the next 3 generations of people are slaves. That does not matter to 99.99% of people in this fucking world. People like Bill Cooper died trying to explain this. He was killed as a martyr trying to get people to understand this. He did 5 broadcasts a week for years, hour of the time, which is what has inspired me to create this podcast, The Time of the Hour. However, my goal isn't to get anyone to believe anything, because I already know from the past experience of more than a decade of trying to inform people of the truth of the world. I know that people don't give a fuck. I know they don't care. The only way that people can be illuminated is you must use the same tactics that have been used against you to manipulate the masses into being more conscious of themselves without them realizing it. You must program their subconscious mind the same way the mass media does. You must seize control of movies, TV, books, mainstream media. You must replace the mainstream media with your own independent media. You must create your own characters, your own mythology, your own movies, your own TV shows, comic books. You must use the neo-Jungian psychoanalysis infused with metaphysics of the occult. And through this advanced science, you must manipulate them with MK Ultra tactics and program their subconscious mind to make them more conscious and more productive and more self-affirming without them realizing it. It's the only way, because they have been cold to be slaughtered. And they will not fight for themselves. They will not stand up. They will not pick up the necessary tool of their own mind to liberate their children and their families and themselves and their future generations. They don't care. They simply do not care. They have been so conditioned and deprogrammed by education, which is essentially de-education, that they've been entirely miseducated. They have been miseducated to the point of their own self-annihilation. So I'm not here banging my head against the wall trying to get anyone to believe this. I'm merely voicing that which I already know to be true. I've already witnessed the power of the occult as it is transforming my own life. I need no further evidence. I need not argue with anybody. I don't care what anybody believes or disbelieves. I only believe in that which I know to be true and that which I am doing. I am witnessing the power of the occult as it is transforming my life. So I'm just documenting it. I'm documenting this so that in the future, when I'm dead and I'm not here anymore, somebody else will come along and hear what I've said, a mind that this resonates with, who has the necessary tools to pick it up and to keep this movement going, as Bill Cooper has done for me, as Hunter S. Thompson has done for me, as Dr. Robert L. Moore has done for me, as my immense goddess, Shiva Medusa, has done for me. The immense goddess Babylon. She has revealed to me her immense mystery. I initiated myself as a devotee to the Hindu goddess Kali. I asked her to reveal to me the immense wisdom of the universe, and she revealed to me Mystery Babylon. The one thing that the late, great Bill Cooper did not realize is that as he informed us of the agenda being used against us and revealed the secrets of the occult, the one thing that I don't think he quite realized is that the power of the occult can be utilized without any of the satanic evil attachments to it. We can use the mystery of Babylon as initiates, as adepts, to defeat the evil initiates and adepts who are misappropriating Babylon's virtue. The immense goddess Babylon has been bastardized as the harlot of Babylon in the dogmatic religions of the modern world. They call her the harlot of Babylon because they're demonizing the feminine energy. They want to demonize the divine feminine energy and misappropriate it. And one of their greatest tactics of that is the false misnomer of what they call feminism. Feminism is not about empowering women. It's actually about subjugating them under the patriarchy by making them believe they're fighting against the patriarchy while they are destabilizing the polarity of balance between the male and female energy on this planet, between men and women. And then on the other side, they promote a toxic masculine agenda in the mind of repressed men who don't appreciate women or respect them. And they create a total destabilized state between men and women. And they've also demonized masculinity by calling it toxic masculinity. When they say toxic masculinity, they're not saying that masculinity that is harmful is toxic. What they're saying is that masculinity itself is toxic, which is false, because masculinity is the way that a male mind affirms himself into becoming his true potential. And a true masculine mind has a deep affection and appreciation for the divine feminine energy and for women. But these are the tactics that have been used to destabilize the minds of the masses. This is the agenda in play. This is the agenda that they have put into place. The false power holders that are pulling the strings from the shadows that control the central world structure, politically, socially, mystically, mythically, metaphysically, through the occult. This is what has been done. And anybody who reveals any level of truth, what they use is tactics to character assassinate them, to perpetuate that they are insane. And also some individuals who present themselves as if they're crusading against these agendas, they themselves are misinformed and don't know what they're really talking about and are being used as puppets, such as a Kanye West. Kanye West is used as a puppet. He thinks he's fighting against the agenda while he's surrounded by agents who control him, handlers. And all he's doing is creating more social disruption by fueling up people's bad feelings and different emotions behind certain subjects and topics. And he's just presenting, false information and rage baiting people and creating more of a disruption. Another tool that's used is tribalism, getting us to fight against each other in different tribes. In America specifically, it's the white-black race issue. They push the white power movement to the racist militias, and then they push "you're being oppressed by whitey" to the black activists, and then everybody else says, well, I'm not white or black, their problems aren't my problems, I have my own problems, and then they're able to oppress each different individual race who are all at each other's necks through tribalism. And the reality is it's power to all people. White power to white people, black power to black people, brown power to brown people, yellow power to yellow people, red power to red people. It's power to all people. We're all one people. If we would all come together and help the Native American indigenous get their land back, guess who's going to help us with our movement? Guess who's going to help you with your movement? The same people you helped. If we'd all come together and help the Asian man and woman stop Asian hate, guess who's going to help you with your movement? The Asian man and woman. If we would help the Latino people and the Hispanic people and Latinx down at the border where they're being rounded up and put into detention camps or being deported and put into detention camps, if we would help them, guess who's going to help you with your movement? The Latino man and woman. And then if all of those people gathered together and went and helped the impoverished black communities that have been destroyed, guess who's going to help them with the movement? All of the people who've been helped. And here we go. Let me go into this. No race of people on this planet has ever had a biochemical warfare agent that has been as detrimental on a multi-generational scale as the usage of crack cocaine. There is a false belief in the minds of many racists in the modern world, white and other races, even black people themselves who, don't identify with their own Africanality, the Uncle Toms and the Aunt Tinas of the world. They believe that the black people in the hood like using drugs, selling drugs, being gangbangers, and killing each other, and being on welfare. They think that's what black people in the hood want to be doing. Crack cocaine was cooked up in a lab. It was distributed by organized crime agents working for the government who pushed it into black communities. The black organizations of the 60s that were building up black communities were destroyed through a civil war waged by the government against those organizations to destroy those communities. The programs that allowed for black individuals in their communities to gain education and to learn music instruments and to become significant members of society, those programs were pulled out of those schools so that they did not have free access to education. Black communities do not have access to go to Harvard. They do not have the money or funding to go to universities, to go work for corporations. The effects of the crack epidemic affected multi-generational. It wasn't just the usage of crack. It was the abuse that occurred once crack was introduced to the home, the sexual abuse, children being given away in exchange for crack, children having to raise themselves in the streets because their parents were addicted to crack. The abuse and the horrors that occurred as a result of the crack epidemic have crippled the black race in America to a point that I do not see an ability to recover without extreme measures of community improvement programs. The militant masculine energy of the young men who had created organizations to protect the community, they have been turned into Vietnam Wars, civil wars fought between opposing sides of rival sets merely because they've been disenfranchised to the point that they have no way to provide for themselves. The drugs that are put into the hood, they don't grow out of the hood, out of the ground. They're brought there by organized crime agents working for the government. The guns that the gangs used in the early gang wars in the 70s and 80s, they were brought on trains that the gangs were allowed to go pick up and bring into the hoods through government agents. These are all realities. A civil war was waged against the black race in America, which is why you see the impoverished communities today in the trap hoods where the gangs are at war. I've heard white racists say, well, they just like to sell drugs and kill each other, so what the fuck are we supposed to do about them? There's an entire agenda where they have demoralized the minds of these racists by presenting black men as if we are savage animals. Part of this was with the Trayvon Martin sacrifice of the black hoodie being used to demonize black men. And then they used the police brutality killings to enforce fear, to make you fear the police, who are knighted agents, who can kill lawfully under the government. They're Knights Templars. And most of them are losers from high school who couldn't get any girls and didn't have any power in their life. So they became police officers so that they could enforce that power on others now as men in uniforms. Not all police. Some police are good men still. But just saying, the way that their agencies are used, and many of them are racist, and many of them are sociopaths, and many of them are serial killers who use their position as police officers to go into impoverished communities and kill black people and people of different ethnic backgrounds outside of Anglo-Saxon. And I don't say minorities. We're not minorities. Don't let anyone call you a minority. Latino, black, Asian people out there. Don't let yourself be called a person of color. People of color, colored people. Don't let anyone call you that. You're just a person. We're just people. There's only one race on this planet, human beings. That's only people on this planet. Those are all tactics of tribalism. And I don't associate any one individual with any group. That's why I said, in spite of the fact that many police officers, cops, pigs, many pigs are racist white pigs and serial killers who use their position to get away with murder and oppression and brutality. Many cops are pigs, but some cops are just police officers who believe in protecting and serving, even though that's not what a cop actually does. That's another usage of the occult. A police officer squad car says protect and serve on it, but their job is law enforcement. They enforce the law. Their job is not to protect you and it's not to serve you. If you need a ride, does a cop give you a ride? No. Okay, they don't serve you then. If you're being stalked or someone has threatened your life, will the cops come protect you? No. You can only call them if somebody is actively trying to kill you. Once someone's actively trying to kill you, I think it's a little too late to call for the police. So they're not there to protect you. They are there to enforce the law for the government. That is what the police are used for. So that's one of the tactics of the occult, is to manipulate your mind into thinking something's true that's not true. What do we call that, everybody? Gaslighting. We call that gaslighting, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't know what I was going to talk about for episode 2, so I decided I'm going to drop some of these bombs off. I'm going to drop some of these atom bombs. Fat Man and Little Boy, the Manhattan Project. Because these are things I think about that I never have a chance to say. So I'm going to get it out there so you guys can listen to it, so you hear it. Now, today, tomorrow, next year, 10 years from now, whatever. Whenever this gets heard. But these are all realities, ladies and gentlemen. These are revolutionary times. The time of the hour is now. The time of the hour is now.